Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra Mai, Jaya Sudarshana.
Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Sudarshana.
Jai Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Radhe.
Jaya Radha Shama Sundaradi.
Jaya Radha Madana Mohan Radha Madana Mohan Radhe.
Jaya Radha Madana Mohan Radha Madana Mohan Radhe.
Jai Radhe, Jayo Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jayo Shri Radhe.
Jayo Radhe, Jayo Radhe, Jayo Radhe, Jayo Shri Radhe.
Tagora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada.
Yo Mishnamada Paramahamsa Parivrajagarya Stotra Shashimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shila Prabhupada Maharaj ki. Yo Mishnamada Paramahamsa Parivrajagarya Stotra Shashimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj ki.
Jai.
Ananda Gauri Vaishnav Vrinda ki.
Jai.
Amacharya Haridas Thakur ki.
Jai.
प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय गो प्रेमानंदे. All glories assembled devotees, all glories assembled devotees, all glories assembled devotees of His Guru. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudhiraye. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishti. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah. Nama Pangajanabhaya Namah Pankajamarine, Namah Pankajanetraya, Namaste Pankajangre. Mugam Karodi Vajalam, Pangam Langayade Giring, Ekvatamaham Mande, Shri Gurum Dinatarinam, Shri Chaitanyamishwaram, Paramananda Madhavam. Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita as it is. Chapter 8, reading from chapter 8, Attaining the Supreme. Today's verses 14, 15, and 16. Text 14. Ananya chedaha sadatam yomam smaradi nityashaham tasyaham sulabha partha nityayuktasya yoginaham. Ananya chedaha sadatam yomam smaradi nityashaham tasyaham sulabha partha nityayuktasya yoginaham. Ananya chedaha satatam yomam smaradi nityashaha tasyaham sulabham partha nityayuktasya yoginaha. Hare Krishna. Sita Thakurani Maji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. What happened? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes. Hare Krishna.
Ananya Cheda Yomam Smaradi Nityashaha Tasyaham Sulabha Partha Nityayuktasya Yoginaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Okay. Rekha Maji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare
Om
Krishna.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ananya Chetaha Satatam Yo Mam Smarati Nityasaha Tasyaham Sulabha Partha Nityayuktasya Yoginaha. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So Thakurani can read that translation.
Hare Krishna. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Verse 15. Mamupetya punarjanma dukharayam ashashvatam napnuvandi mahatmanam samsiddhim paramam gadaha. Mam upetya punarjanma dukhalayam ashashvatam napnuvandi mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam kataha. Mam upetya punarjanma Dukhalayam ashashwadam napnuvandi mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam kataha. Rekha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Mamupetya punarjanma dukkalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gataha. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Sita Thakurani Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayamashashvatam napnivandi mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gadaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Rekha Mataji can read the translation.
Okay, Prabhu. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of misery because they have attained the highest perfection. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Verse 16. Abrahma bhuvana lokaha punaravartino arjuna mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyade. Abrahma bhuvana loka punaravartino arjuna mam upetya tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyade. Abrahma bhuvana loke bhuvana loka punaravartino arjuna mamupetya kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate. Hare Krishna. Rekha Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Abrahma bhuvana lokaha punar avrattinorjuna mamupetyatu kaunteya punar janmana vidyate. Hare Krishna.
See the acronym has left exit some brown network. Okay, you can read the translation.
Okay, Prabhu. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated births and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Okay, see that acronym, can read the verse.
Hare Krishna. Abrahma bhuvana loga punaravartinorjuna mamupetyatu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Sigdamaji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, it is sloka number?
Verses 14, 15 and 16.
Ananyacetah satatam yomang smrati nityaya nishah tasyahang sulabha partha nityayuktasya yoginah mamupetya punarjanma dukhalaya masasratam naprubhanti mahatmanah samsiddhim paramagatah. Abrahmabhutanalokah punarabhrotinorjuna mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyati.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmelidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namam Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthavitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadadi Swapadandigam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Udavadagamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsam Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Raghunathanvidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadhutam Parijana Saidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Ladida Shivishaganvidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagalpade Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namastude Taptaganjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanasude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpadrubhishta Kripa Sindhubhyev cha Padidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swaminidhi Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Ananyacetaha satatam Yomam Smardi Nityashaha Tasyaham Sulabha Partha Nityayuktasya Yoginaha. For one who remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. So in these verses 14, 15 and 16, Krishna is explaining the pure devotee. The previous verses from 10 onwards up to 13, Krishna was explaining mixed devotees, yoga mixed bhakti and jnana mixed bhakti. So the subject matter of this chapter started from the 7th chapter last two verses, as you remember, Jara Marna Mokshaya, Mamashitedariye, Te Brahmata Vidu Krishnam Adhyatmam Karmachakiram. So that Jnani, this Jnani, who is different from the Jnani mentioned in the group of 4 devotees. This Jnani is very much interested in liberation. He wants to get out of the entanglement of this material web and free himself. So that means he is interested in liberation. He wants moksha. So the activities of that devotee, of that Jnani and yogi, for remembering Krishna. So that means whatever process we are adopting, ultimately you have to remember Krishna. Whether Jnana Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, whatever it is, ultimately you have to take Krishna's support. So how these Jnanis and Yogis, how they remember Krishna? By yoga practice and by brahmacharya, by always chanting the Omkara. Such devotees and their path to this the realization, Brahman realization, was explained in 10, 11, 12, and 13. So now Krishna is explaining or is describing the pure devotee, how he remembers Krishna. Because he is not depending on any other process. That is called Ananya Chedaha, Ananya. He is not depending on any other process other than Bhakti Yoga, and he is not depending on any other person other than Krishna. He's not interested in looking at Brahma, Shiva, and all those demigods, or even the pure, very pure devotee of Krishna. They don't even look at, they don't have a devotional attitude. They don't engage in devotion service, rather, and they don't engage in devotion service other Vishnumurtis except Krishna. Such is their strong focus, such is their consciousness, always starting on Krishna only. And they don't accept any other process other than Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Hatha Yoga, and all those yogas which have got some selfish interest there. There is always an underlying self-interest in all the yogas. Because there, the focus is actually the self only, not Krishna. We are taking they're accepting the help of Krishna. And when they meet with some difficulties, of course, they fall back on Krishna. Other than that, their focus is on self. Planets. The Jnanis are interested in Brahman realization. Only the pure devotee is Nishkama. That is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna Bhakta Nishkama. Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ateva Shanta Bhukti Mukti Siddhagami Sagela Ashanta. Sakale Ashanta. Everyone other than pure devotee is Nishkama. And that is because of that he's always peaceful. Ateva Shanta. If you have desires other than Krishna, you'll be always in an agitated agitated frame of mind. Because here you're trying to attain something which is not spiritual. If you're trying to act anything which other than Krishna, it will create disturbance. For example, the Bhukti they are interested in name, fame, and while they are here, and then they want elevation to higher planets. Mukti, they are interested in liberation. Siddha, they are interested in attaining, acquiring eightfold siddhis. So they are basically ashanta. They are not peaceful. But here, the yogi, the bhakta yogi, the pure devotee is always very peaceful. Ananya cheda satatam is always. Not that he executes the devotional service for some time, then stops it for some time, and they again return. Something happens in the house, they stop the activities. Some visitors come, they stop the activities. Of the elderly person, sometimes their children visit for 1 or 2 months. So that time they stop all the activities. Or sometimes they go and visit their children also. They may be residing in another, maybe inside India or outside India. And that time they take a vacation from their place and go to these foreign countries to stay with the children. At that time also, sometimes they suspend this Krishna consciousness. So this we are seeing, practically we are seeing here. In Krishna consciousness, we see this. Very nice devotees, they are always very punctual and they are doing all devotion service. But suddenly this some activities comes in, like relatives comes in, and then other engagement coming. And when there's another engagement, they always focus on that engagement. For example, house building. If you're building a house and all your concentration focus will be on house building only. How to get the materials, how to arrange for the cash, how to get labor. So many problems connected with the house building. So many things. Or they're interested in sending their children to higher studies, either in India or outside India. Then for a few months, they look at all the options available. And the time they be focusing on only that only. So Sadaram here, Bhagavan says, Haitugi apradihada. Haitugi means without any cause. We should worship Krishna for the sake of worshipping Krishna only, not for getting anything from getting out of him. First of all, we have to understand this is a duty of a human being, a duty of a living entity. Living entity to worship Krishna, it's a paramount duty. It's our first duty only. First duty is to render devotion service to Krishna. And when you accept that responsibility, when you realize and you understand the truth behind it, then whether you are interested or we have developed a taste or not, you will stick to this duty. This is our sadhana bhakti. In sadhana bhakti, there is no spontaneous affection or love towards Krishna. That has to be cultivated. That is why Krishna, Srila Prabhupada, in his Nectar of Instruction, says, bhakti has to be cultivated. It is not that as if it is your automatic get it. Some, of course, some very, very elevated souls, because of their tremendous devotional services they have done in the past lives. Right from the birth, they are very spontaneously attached to Krishna. Total devotion to Krishna. These are exceptions. Normally speaking, when our case, we have to be trained and we have to get this knowledge from scriptures. We have to get directions from a spiritual master. Then we have to study that life histories of the saints, realized saints, how they have realized Krishna, and all those. If you look at their our acharyas, their biographies, their pastimes, then we get inspiration from that. Yes, this is true. Otherwise, we have no other way of understanding and developing our faith. Developing the faith is paramount. If you are to be a devotee, you have to develop firm, unflinching, unshakable faith. There is no faith. If there is no unshakable faith, it's very difficult because always doubts will rise in your mind. Whether all those things described in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are true, or there's just far-fetched, sometimes it looks far-fetched, and so many things will come. Are they only stories, or are they exaggerations, or actually these things really take place? So such kinds of doubts can be quelled when you read the biographies and pastimes of realized saints and acharyas, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and all in our gurus, acharyas, Madhvendra Puri. So many acharyas, Vaishnava acharyas are there. We have Narottam Das Thakurji, we have Srinivasa Acharya, Ramachandra Acharya. So many acharyas we have. And then when you read their pastimes and their tales and their this ones, then you will develop faith. So once a faith is very, very firm, then we can easily render devotional service on a regular basis. Then slowly you will develop affection, affinity, then slowly bhava, prema, and all those will be gradually developed. But in the beginning stage, it is for us to be very, very punctual, very stringent. We have to be very strict with ourselves, very strict with ourselves, that come whatever, we will stick to our schedule. We have a schedule. Srila Prabhupada has given us very nice schedule, a timetable of 24 hours, how we can do the devotional service so nicely. Map, this the route map has been drawn for us. We need only follow that. So if you are totally convinced and very, very strict on this, you can follow this, and then we have this sadadam. So that means all the time. Yoma smari nitya shad, always on a daily basis. So once you have totally daughter to Krishna, when you're totally dependent on Krishna, then your spiritual journey becomes very easy. You'll not meet with the difficulties that other yoga practitioners are having. Because Krishna is very, very merciful. And the person who does the devotional service, especially chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Krishna helps in various ways. And ultimately, he gives him the real intelligence so that he can reach Krishna. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yesham sadayuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam vayandite. So when that is said, then tasyaham sulabha partha. Because this devotee is always thinking of Krishna constantly, without any regard for time, place, or purity. Some scriptures or some are very what we called niyamagraha smarta, we call them smartas. They fix time for doing various devotional service, taking the name of Krishna. You can do only in the morning, and some fixed times they say this is the only way you can chant, take the names of Krishna and engage in so many devotional service. There are so many rituals and so many strict rules and regulations with the smartas. But then pure devotee is not at all concerned with all these rules and regulations, because he's always chanting holy name, he's always engaged in service, irrespective of time, then place. He need not be always that you should be always the holy dham. Of course, Holidham is very, very nice. Vrindavan, especially, and all that, very nice. Puri, Navadvip. These are very, very great, elevated, and very transcendental holy places, and gives you a lot of transcendental vibrations if you visit these places. But a pure devotee can always have transcendental vibes wherever he is, because he's constantly thinking of Krishna. Why we visit these holy places? Because in all these places there are a lot of pastimes enacted by Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jagannath. All those pastimes are there, and when we are in these places, we get constant remembrance of Krishna is there. We need that. But a pure devotee is always 24 hours thinking of Krishna. For him, everything, everywhere, wherever he is Vrindavan. So Advaita Prabhu tells Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says, Aradido Nanda Nandana Tadhama Vrindavana. Wherever Krishna is worshipped, that place is Vrindavana only. So time, place, and purity. Sometimes you have to take a bath, and some ritualistic methods pertaining to purity. You have to follow that. But pure devotee, for this devotee, this purity doesn't matter. He is always pure inside. Doesn't mean that you have to take a bath and chant Hare Krishna. If you want to chant Hare Krishna, and it's not necessarily that you have to get up and take a bath. Taking baths, of course, nice, but it doesn't mean that ultimately the main purpose is to chant. Priority is for chanting only, not for a pure state of body. So they are always thinking of Krishna, and for them, this Tasya Ham Sulabha Partha. And that person, Krishna says, he gives himself. Tasyam Sulabha Partha means Krishna is giving himself to a devotee. He is revealing himself out of his unfathomable, inconceivable mercy. He is revealing himself. It's very difficult for Krishna to get Krishna. You cannot attain so much efforts. All the yogis for eons of time, they are worshipping Krishna, trying to get hold of Krishna. It's not possible for them. So Kathopanishad says, Naya Matma Pravajnen Labhyo, Na Medasa, Na Medaya, Na Bhuna Shrutena, Naya Matma Pravajnen Labhyo, not by so much preaching, so much intelligence, reading scriptures. Yam Evesha Vrunade Tena Labhyas, but Krishna will not reveal himself to that such a person. Then to whom Krishna will reveal? Taseshatma Vivrunude Tanum Swam. The person he selects, the devotee whom he selects, Krishna reveals himself. Nitya Yuktasya, and then what? He is constantly, because after realization also he is constantly. That is when Nitya Yuktasya. It's not that after getting realization of Bhagavad realization, you stop all activities, all the process. No. In all the processes like that. Once that goal is achieved, the process is absorbed, or can say oblation, and that process is relinquished. It's no longer necessary. Whether it's Jnana Yoga, other yogas, once that goal is attained, the process is disbanded. But here it is not a Nitya Yuktasya, it is always there, eternal. Eternally engaged in Yoginaha. And Yogina means always engaged in the rasas. He is connected with Krishna. Yogina means rendering devotional service to Krishna. In the particular rasa, he is connected with Krishna. So these rasas we have Shantarasa, Dasarasa, Sakharasa, Valsalya, Madhurya, so many rasas are there. And depending on our particular rasa, in what way we are connected to Krishna, we can continue to give service, devotional service to Krishna. Become associate of Krishna and Golok Vrindavan. So this is the greatest blessing of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That is, you can always think of Krishna. It is very simple method, not at all difficult. It doesn't need anything else. Simply chant. And what is the outcome? What is the real benefit? And what is the ultimate benefit of this chanting is given in the next verse. Mamupete punarjanma dukkhale mashashwadam napnuvandi mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam kataha. So he doesn't return. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. Samsiddhi gadaha. This is perfection. Real perfection is understanding your constitutional position as a humble, menial servant of Krishna. Once you realize that, that is the perfection and success in our life. When that is attained, no longer you have to return to this material world, which is full of miseries, full of unhappiness, because it is temporary nature. Because it is in temporary, there is always agitation. There is always so much miseries. So you are no longer getting back, because he attained the supreme planets. And why they are called Mahatmas? Because they receive constantly messages from realized highly elevated souls. So Mahatmas, here I can mention this, their spiritual masters. And the spiritual masters are always connected with the higher authorities or higher souls who are in the rasas. Like we have seen Srila Prabhupada in different occasions. He is connected with Narada Muni. He receives messages from Narada Muni. He gets messages from Rupa Goswami. So when we are in that state, we can always get communication, live communication from these great persons, Mahatmanas. So this is very true in the life of Srila Prabhupada. So many instances we have seen he is getting communication from Narada, Sri Narada, Rupa Goswami, then associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So many instances are there. So the pure devotees, because of their essential service, their eternal service, which is eternal nature, they have no aspiration or interest to be elevated to material planets, nor do they want to transfer even to spiritual planets also. There are so many hundreds and thousands of spiritual planets, but they don't want association in any of these planets, spiritual planets. They want direct association with Krishna. So they choose Golok Vrindavan only. So once they reach there is no question of coming back. Yagatwana nivatande tadhama paramamama. 15th chapter is given. Yagatwana nivatande tadhama paramamama. Such is transcendental nature of my abode, that once you are there, and then there is no question of coming back to this miserable life, miserable world. And what is this miserable verse? This is explained in the next verse. Abrahma bhuvana loga punaravartino arjuna mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanma nividyade. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains my abode, O son of Kundi, now takes his birth again. So even if you go to Brahma, I mean the highest planet, Brahma, you have to come back. That is given Shastras. You may attain the Swargaloga, Maharloga, Tabaloga, and all those loga, even up to Brahma Loga. But ultimately, once you finish your stock of purity or piety, then you have to come back. Only those devotees who are practicing devotion service, even in Brahma Loga also, only they are eligible to be transferred to the spiritual planets. So we have seen in Swargaloga and Brahmaloga, two types of spiritualists go there. One who is interested in being elevated to these planets, adopting the process of yoga, Ashtanga yoga. And then there is a type of devotee who is called Sanishta Bhakta. Baldev Vidyabhushan makes three distinct devotees: Sanishta, Parinishtida, and Nirapeksha. Sanishta Bhakta is a devotee who is very strictly following the prescribed duties as Varnashama. He is very strictly following the Varnashama, and he is practicing it. They practice in Nishkama Karma also, because all those active prescribed duties is doing for Krishna only. The results is surrendering to Krishna. So that Sanishta Bhakta is very firmly in this Varnashama system. And from there he attains, develops the purity, like we have seen in Karma Yoga, the purity is attaining by doing the prescribed duties for the satisfaction of Krishna. And then he attains purity, then attains salvation, and then he is being promoted to these higher planets, because he like to see the creation of the Lord. He has an interest in seeing the creations of the Lord. So he is elevated Brahma Loga, and there also he continues a devotion service. And later, when at the end of the Brahma's day, when Brahma lifespan, when all the worlds, Brahma Loga is also destroyed, he, along with Brahma and his associates, are transferred to the spiritual worlds. So, Baldev Vidyabhushan, he is quoting from Kurma Purana, he says, Brahmana sahate sarve samprapte pradisanchare parashande kridatmanam pravishandi parampadam. Those who are Brahmaloga with exalted status, the time of dissolutions, go directly to a supreme God. Exalted status means because of their rendering devotion service there also, they directly go to the supreme abode along with the Lord Brahma. So in all those planets, repeated BOD cycle is there. But any other planets where doing the devotion service constantly, you will be promoted. It's not necessary that it should be in Earth also. It should be on, or can be in lower planets also. It can be higher planets also. The planets is not. It's not. I mean, there. Of course, Puranas and Shastra says that the best places are Bhumandala only, Earth only. This is where it is very easy to practice devotion. But ultimately, wherever you are, if you are practicing devotion service constantly, then ultimately, at the end of your life, you'll be promoted to the spiritual planets. So that is a benefit of doing unflinching, pure devotion service. And these three verses are speaking about these devotees who are engaged in that. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Shall we do this Chaurashtakam? Morning we are doing this 15th chapter. Every day we are reading from that this one. Evening we have decided to do this Chaurashtam, but in class of 5 we're not done, but maybe we can do it today. Rekha Maharaji, you have this Chaurashtam with you. We have posted in group.
What, Prabhu? What is that Chaurashtam? Didn't understood. Sorry, Prabhu.
Chaurashtam.
I didn't understood.
Yeah.
I didn't understood, Prabhu. Chaurashtam. What is?
Chaurashtam is this poem written by Villamangala. It is standard during Purushartha Masa. This is the present month from August 18 to July 18 to August 16. So Purushartha Mas. So many messages have been put in the groups.
Sorry, Prabhu, I didn't saw, Prabhu.
When you're not looking at the group messages. So many days we are continuously
I'm
posting.
seeing, but some days I think I didn't watch properly.
Right. Anyway, you can hear now. I'll send across to you.
Prabhu,
Maybe
okay,
you can just send a Chaurashtakam. One second.
Okay, Prabhu.
Will you be able to read if I send it to you now?
What, Prabhu?
Will you be able to read if I send it to you?
Okay, Prabhu.
Yeah, I've sent it to you now.
Okay, Prabhu, I'll see.
And see. Vraje prasiddham navanita chauram Gopangananam cha dukula chauram Anega janmajidam pava chauram Chauranganyam purusham namami Shri Radhikaya Hridayasya chauram Navambudam Syamalakanti chauram Padashritanam cha samasta chauram Chauranganyam purusham namami Akinchanikrithya padashidam yam Karodi bhikshum padile gehahinam Kenavi ho bhishana chaura idre Drishtashudo va na jagatrayevi Yadiya namapi haratire asesham Giriprasaranapi pavarasin Ashadya rupo nani chaura idre Drishtashudo va na maya kadapi Dhanam cha manam cha tadendriyani pranam sahitva mama sarvameva palayase kutra dridodhya jaura tvam bhakti dama tamnasi maya niruddha chinatsi goram yamapasha bandham Chinatsi bhinmam bhavapasa bandham Chinatsi sarvasya samasta bandham Nivatmano bhakta kridam tu bandham Manamanasse tava tamasa rishigore Karagrihe dukkha vaye nibaddha Labhasva che chaura hare chiraya Sachaurya doshidam eva dandam Karagrihe vasa sadahde madiye Madbhakti pasa dridabandha nischarasan Tvam Krishna he playa kodi santarevi Sarvasva chaura hridayam nahi mokshayami Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Chaurashtakam ki
Jai.
Jai.
Okay. Rekha Maji can enter.
Narasimha Kirtana.
Narasimha Kirtana.
Okay, Prabhu. Namaste Narasimhaya Prahlad Lad Daine Hiranyakashi Porvakshaha Shilatanka Nakalaye Ito Nasimha Parato Nasimha Yato Yato Yami Tato Nasimha Bahe Nasimo Hridhaye Nasimo Narasimham Madhim Sharanam Prapade Tava Karakamalavare Nakam Albudha Shringham Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tani Bringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jaya Nasimhadev Jaya Nasimhadev Nasimhadev Jaya Nasimhadev Jaya Narahari Jaya Narahari Jaya Narahari Jaya Narahari Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Kitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Kitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari 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 Bol Ugram Veeram Mahavishnu Jalantam Sarvatomukam Narasimham Bhishanabhadram Mrityurmrityunamamaham Ugram Veeram Mahavishnu Jalantam Sarvatomukam Narasimham Bhishanabhadram Mrityurmrityunamamaham Ugram Veeram Mahavishnu Jalantam Sarvatomukam Narasimham Bhishanabhadram Mrityurmrityunamamaham Shri Nasimha Jai Nasimha Jai Jai Shri Nasimha Prahladesha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bringa Shri Nasimha Jai Nasimha Jai Jai Shri Nasimha Prahladesha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bringa
शुद्ध भक्ति विघ्ननाशकारी श्री नरसिंह देव भगवान की
Jai
वैष्णव भक्त श्रेष्ठ पड़ा महाराज की
Jai
जय गो प्रेमानंदे
Hari Hari Bol
पांचा कल्पद्रुभिश्च वासिंदु बेवचा
Sakratram Bhavindu
प्रदानाम
Vaishnava
पावने
Manantapuri
वैष्णवेभ्यो नंद गौरी वैष्णव